Management is proud to present Daily Vet Life, a short podcast for equine and mixed animal veterinarians and their staffs that is focused on personal and business topics of importance during the COVID-19 pandemic. In this week's episodes, we'll talk about various aspects of being a veterinarian during the COVID-19 pandemic with Amy Grice, VMD, MBA. Dr. Grice practiced for more than 20 years, and she has strong business credentials. She consults with and advises veterinarians and practice owners on a wide variety of projects and challenges through her veterinary business consulting company. Today's episode discusses personal financial wellness. Daily Vet Life is brought to you by Covetrus, a global animal health company dedicated to empowering veterinary practices. We combine products, services, and technology into a single platform that connects our customers to the solutions and insights they need to grow. Welcome, Dr. Grice.
Hi, Kim. It's so good to be with you again.
Well, thank you. For our audience, we are talking to Dr. Grice all week. We've already talked about dealing with stress and business tips for solo practitioners, both of which I think would be extremely helpful. If you manage to miss them, go back and see if you can find them and make sure to take a few minutes to listen to them. Today, we're going to be talking about personal financial wellness. So, Dr. Grice, why is financial wellness so important anytime, but especially now?
Well, with the economic downturn related to the COVID-19 pandemic, managing money is a significant source of stress right now for practitioners, but really for anybody. We all have such uncertainty about what's going to happen in the future. And it makes it very stressful to think about what's going on. And, you know, there have always been stresses in veterinarians' financial lives. You know, right now, new graduates and even people that have been out 10 and 15 years have high educational debt that they worry about. And even those that have been in practice for a long time may have kids that are heading off to college and have high college tuition. Those that are getting near retirement may be feeling like, oh my goodness, did I save enough? Will I be able to sell my practice? So no matter what your age, there is the potential for significant stress, and that stress is so much higher right now. Financial worries, they can really eat away at your sense of well-being. It really can cause a great deal of worry and anxiety. And although it may be very, very sort of attractive to think of putting your head in the sand and just not thinking about it, what I'm here to recommend today is that you treat it with a lot of seriousness and say, my first step to financial wellness is making sure I actually know what my financial situation is. I need to know the reality so that I can make a plan. You must make a plan. You must know the reality. Having a true picture will allow you to make informed financial decisions that make sense for you. And while you may not know what's going to happen next week, next month, you need to know what's happening right now. So to do that, I would suggest and recommend that you make a personal financial statement, which is pretty easy. What you do is you just list all of the things, the valuable things that you own. They're your assets. That could be your car, your home, if you have any stocks or bonds or a savings account or a retirement account. Those are all assets. And then you're going to make a list of all the things that you owe, your debts. So if you had a mortgage on your home, you would list your home's market value as an asset and the remaining principal on your mortgage as a debt. So once you do that, add up all the value of your assets and then subtract the total of your liabilities, and don't freak out, because a negative number is really common among young professionals. And it doesn't mean that the sky is falling. It means that you have made investments in your future. So don't despair. And then next year, do it again. John Chalk likes to say, you need to keep a score. And keeping score means knowing what the numbers are. So Having done this exercise, simply being aware of the reality is going to change behavior and outcomes. So if you happen to have found that you have a negative number and you were thinking about how you really need a new car, you may reassess the thought when you look at a low payment on a car that's financed over 72 months and you're thinking what a great deal it is. If you have done this personal financial statement, you're much less likely to buy that car and more likely to buy something used. Making smart financial decisions throughout your life, but especially right now, it's really going to make a difference in your future well-being. If you have outstanding obligations, loans, right now that you are worried about not being able to make, I encourage you to reach out to your lenders right now before you run out of cash and make a plan with them for how you can fulfill your obligation. Whether you're a practice owner or whether you're an associate, you may be looking at a decreased revenue or decreased work hours for a period of time, and none of us know how long that period of time will be. So looking at things without rose-colored glasses, looking at reality is super, super important. If you possibly can, and as things come back to normal, if you are not already, please start saving for your retirement. Do you know that if you start saving $5,000 a year when you're 25 and do that for only 10 years, you will have more money by the time you're 65. So you save $5,000 a year from the ages 25 to 35 and then just let it compound until you're 65. You will have more money than if you saved that $5,000 a year from the time you're 35 all the way until you're age 60. So even if you're tight on cash, if you can put a little bit away, it's going to make a really big difference. It may seem like a lot, but once things get back to normal, that's one of the most important things you can do for your future. The other thing to remember as things start to normalize is that owning a veterinary practice is a really good financial move. So don't lose hope of having a successful financial future in veterinary medicine. Get through this period of time when things are rocky. Save your cash, renegotiate your obligations, keep your hope up, and know what reality is. Those are the most important things you can do right now.
Well, those are some great tips about financial wellness, Dr. Grice, and we really appreciate you sharing those with us today. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Daily Vet Life, and thank you to our sponsor, Covetrus. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the Daily Vet Life on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Follow Equimanagement on Facebook or send us an email at kbrown@aimmedia.com. Daily Vet Life is a production of the Equine Podcast Network, an entity of the Equine Network.